Chiro Mafia. I'm with one of my favorite brothers, Chiro Passion, Giuseppe Borio. Awesome.
See.
From upstate New York, man. Thank you so much. My mom is from, they got relatives in your town.
I know. We're cousins and we don't even know it, but we know it. You know what I mean?
I know. I knew it the minute you gave me that free lunch ticket.
I know, talking food.
Talking food. I know.
Dr. Fred from Elite. Hey, listen, this is I got to share this with you really quick. I know we got some important things to go over today, but
yeah.
There's a restaurant called Francesca's. It's an Italian restaurant in Syracuse, New York. And I ordered a veal parm. And I never had one there before. And I never had it this way. Maybe other people have had it this way. But they came out, they did it on a veal chop. So they did a veal chop.
Nice.
Yeah, so they did a veal chop, obviously hit the sauce, hit the cheese, and so forth. So I'm assuming they grilled it / breaded, fried that sucker, grilled it, and then popped it in there. Man, that was good. That was probably one of the best veal parms I've ever had. It was absolutely
really? Yeah. Was it thick?
It was thick. And I'll tell you, the best eggplant parm I've ever had in my life, and I've emulated it, and it was because of you. We were at Carmine's when Chiro Mafia started, and I was sitting next to you. I don't know if you remember this, and we were ordering things for the table, and you were like, Joe, grab the parm, or the eggplant parm, and they slice it like really thin. They put like 20 little slices.
And it's layered.
And they
give you a brick like this big.
Yeah.
I know. Whenever I go there, man, I order whatever entree and then the brick of an eggplant parmesan.
Yeah. Yeline. Whatever you tell me to do, I do, and I did it. And again,
absolutely
changed my life. Thank you.
Yeah, and then you have this brick. Of course, you have this whole other entree, and then you're like, "Hey, you guys want to try it, but not too much." No, that was too much. Yeah,
exactly.
Try it, not eat it. There's a
there's a difference. Try is a little bit of a bite. Knock it off.
Well, you know what else is funny, man? I remember who was I with? I don't know. Anyway, I was eating dinner and we were with another couple, and Molly didn't finish her dinner, and the dude at the table said, "Hey, are you done?" Like you want to eat. I'm like, "Hey, whoa, no. You asked the man permission to eat your." I thought everybody knew that.
Exactly. Like I'm reaching over with my fork and I'm eating that shit. Exactly.
Yeah, but no. You got to get permission from the man to eat that woman's dinner. You don't understand. I thought everybody knew that.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's true.
Oh, absolutely, man. I wasn't like laughing and joking around. I'm like, hey. Come on.
You trying to turn the table?
Yeah,
listen,
exactly.
We'll tip you out. Settle down. We ain't done eating yet.
Yeah.
Settle down.
I know. That's when the waitress comes and says, "Are you done?" They should look at me when they're asking if my wife is done.
Exactly.
Like, where did that go wrong?
You know what it is? It's the new generation. They don't get it.
Oh, dude.
I was at your place and I made a joke about borrowing money from an Italian, and I said my Uncle Vito shows up with a violin case, and only a few people laughed, and then you came in after and said, "Joe, the problem with that is nobody understands what that means in this crowd."
It's not that hard to understand.
It isn't. It's right in The Godfather. He shows up with a cardboard box. Boom, boom, boom.
Exactly. Yeah.
So a prerequisite, I know we got a good topic to go over today, which is awesome, but prerequisite, Goodfellas. If you haven't watched Goodfellas, you know what? Put the Chiro Mafia on pause, watch it, and then it's going to make a lot more sense to you.
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
Godfather 1 and 2, we're not going to make 3 mandatory. It definitely, we apologize for that.
Yeah.
But 1 and 2, absolutely classic. Casino, okay. And then Raging Bull, probably one of the top 10 movies of the century with Jake LaMotta. So if you got to watch those to really understand Fred and I think so.
Yeah, I can name some Joe Pesci's in the family, and then the Robert De Niro's. They seem pretty cool. Just don't poke on them too many times.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was actually my dad. Was was like Robert De Niro's like pretty awesome, seems pretty calm. When you just look at him, you know there's something underneath that calm. You just
Yeah.
don't want to poke on him too many times.
My dad had a quick fuse. My mother was so sweet to this day. I could be on trial for murdering 67 people. She'd be in the front row, like crying, like, oh, Joey's such a good boy.
I
He's
know.
so good. He was probably sad. He was having a bad day today. That would be my mother to this day. So
Yeah, and she'd
my
have
dad
the
would have
little
said,
brown.
hang him,
She'd
shoot him.
have the brown paper bag with the oil stains on it.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
give it?
exactly.
Going to the prosecuting attorney. Can you give this to my son?
Exactly.
Can you just pass that over? He looks very
Exactly.
hungry.
Oh, that's so funny. True. It's funny. So, Fred,
That's
you want to talk about percentages of success, and this is going to be a really great call. You know, what makes certain people successful? Why is it such a small factor of people that really create a movement, that lead a movement, that change a movement, and a little bit of kind of a breakdown behind that. So, start off, explain a little bit of that to us about what you're
well,
talking about.
and I would say this is really the theme for Chiro Mafia. It's the whole reason we do Chiro Mafia. It's a 97%, 3% rule. So what's the 97%? And it's like a human need, man. We want to be safe. We don't want to take a risk. It threatens our survival. Our most basic instinct is survival, right? So and the problem is now you're a chiropractor. So first of all, you're a chiropractor. Do you know that you chose to swim upstream? And the people that are coming out of
Right.
school now and, that are recently starting in the profession, when you look back way back when we started, I mean, we started in the early 80s. So, chiropractic was just coming into insurance. It wasn't quite a household name, but it was much more popular. But you go 10 years earlier, and, those people, the generation before us, man, they had to fight wars
Yes.
to pave the road that we drove
Yes.
on. But we were just on the other side of that.
Yes.
So we were actually appreciative that we had even dirt roads and some asphalt roads.
Yes.
And now they have 6-lane freeways, which has made people comfortable. And that's a
Yeah.
97%. What's that? They just do what they've always done. Now, can they be successful? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I have people calling me, you know what? They make $1 million a year, but they have a 40 PVA. So every 3 months, they got to rebuild their practice. They're constantly marketing. Maybe they have purpose and the 97%, can you be successful in the 97%? Absolutely. Are you fulfilling your purpose on the highest level? I guess that depends what your purpose is. I have clients, and this is okay. Their purpose is to provide a great life for their family. And that is a very high purpose. And that is awesome. But what some of them don't do is what it takes to get an 80 or 100 PVA. Because I have the life I want, and that's great. And then who are you building your practice for? If you're building a business for your family, then you miss the power that's happening or could be happening in your clinic. Because what's happening to those parents that quit in 3 months that never bring their kids? What's happening to the next generation? Are those kids getting vaccinated? In California, mandatory vaccination for public school. I mean, how bad, supposedly in another 5 years, I think it's 1 in 30, it's going to be 1 in 3 kids are on the autistic spectrum
Spectrum. Yeah.
in less than a decade, 1 in 3. And so it's awesome you build a life for your family, but what about all the people? Did you get into chiropractic for a business or did you get into chiropractic for the people? And that's the thing that people don't get. When you get into it for the people, you're going to have a more amazing business. you're
Correct.
going to have an even better life for your family.
Yes. Yes.
And so
Yeah.
it's that next step, and then that becomes the 3%.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't want
Yeah.
to do all the talking. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, I'm loving it. Yeah, you're exactly right. You know, Zig Ziglar said, if you want to make $1 million, he said help 1 million people. I would say serve 1 million people because we're chiropractors, right? So if you want to make $1 million, serve 1 million people with chiropractic. You want to make 1 billion, serve a billion people with chiropractic. So that's what Jeff Bezos and other people, Elon Musk. You look at the richest people; they solved problems, they served
They
people, they
solve
offered
world
solutions.
problems.
So there's problems in healthcare. There's so many other venues to make a living in. You know what I mean? And I look at what we could have done. I could have done so. I could have run my dad's restaurant. They're begging me to stay to run it. I
Well, your
could have done
brother
anything,
did.
but right. So when you go into chiropractic, it doesn't mean we want to be proud poor. It doesn't mean you want to struggle and suffer. But the point is that if you go into it to be a chiropractor, to serve people, that's where your greatest success lies, and that's
Absolutely.
where your greatest success financially is going to lie. And again,
Absolutely.
I'm not knocking docs. I get it. I see a lot of other docs, and we start bringing in these adjunctives into the practice. I see red light therapy and soft wave and other modalities. And again, I'm not here to judge you. You do what you got to do. You got your own business model, whatever. But I will tell you what bothers me, and it's so obvious to me objectively, is I see a level of excitement, enthusiasm, um, motivation, the willingness to post and nonstop about these other things that is higher than being a chiropractor. That's what drives me nuts. Like, if you get this new service in there, that's great, but it's nonstop. Look at this, look at this, look at this. And then I hear them struggle. Well, I brought it in because I'm struggling with chiropractic. And then you look at their posts and you're like, well, geez, I looked at your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, your YouTube, if you even have channels, you don't even talk about chiropractic. So how are you going to grow chiropractic if you don't talk chiropractic? How are you going to serve more people if you're not talking chiropractic? There's problems in healthcare. The bottom line is attach what you do to that, solve that problem, as well as connect it with leadership to what the nervous system body does, and you'll grow a massive, and again, I'm not saying this out of something I used to do 30, 40 years ago. You'll grow a massive practice. Fred's done it. Anybody that you look at high volume, what do? They're helping tons of people. They're the happiest chiropractors. They're the most fulfilled, purposeful chiropractors. They keep it simple, come in, get adjusted, and leave. They make more money. They have more time off. They get more hugs and kisses. And I'll tell you, the last thing, one of the things that I noticed when I was really, really hitting it and I didn't realize it, it was Christmas. When Christmas came and I was seeing a lot of people, but I was really connecting and loving what I did, the number of cards, presents, well wishes, hugs. I mean, we literally had that whole back of the office, like nonstop presents and gifts and cards and such, because you became something different to them. You served them at a higher level. So that's
Absolutely.
that 3%.
Absolutely. And I have a couple stories. Like you said, people do these other things to supplement, although they don't want it. I mean, I'm talking to a person that wants to join today, and this person has put other services, beauty services and things like that. And they have at the end of the year, they make great money, but it's a 30 to 40 PVA.
Right.
And that means they're losing people and they don't have people on wellness. And so, then I was talking, and many times that's like, well, I want to do it, but I don't know how. Well, then find a coach that has that primary core value,
Right.
and Joe, whether or not you put this into words, but we're the same in our coaching, right? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, we don't create patients, we create leaders.
Correct.
Create leaders that want to bring their family, and we create a legacy that affects generations. Like when you value that, then all you have to do is look at your practice. I was on another
Right.
coaching call yesterday, and the guy's just a few years out of school. He's definitely grown, but he wants to be up here. And so what do they naturally do? What the 97% does? Well, marketing. And here's what I said: look at your schedule and how many parents do you have coming in without their kids?
Exactly.
Right there, it's like everybody they're walking along a road, a gold road with nuggets and gold rocks everywhere, looking up at the sky, tripping over the gold bricks, wondering where the gold is. And they're tripping over it because it's already in your practice. And so one thing is I tell people, look, if you committed to every person, one, you always start with family first. Every parent, at least starting with one kid, at least start with one and then you can get the others. And if every person in your practice referred one person, you would double your practice.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
what if, okay, well, every person refer one. Well, am I going to do that? Well, what if you had 40% of them refer? So you just grew 40%.
Exactly.
Yeah, you probably hit your goals. Your bank account looks different, and it's like you're walking along the golden
Exactly.
road. But what you did was you created a patient, not a person that wanted to change the
Correct.
healthcare in
Correct.
every generation after that.
Yes. 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 And
And
you didn't
that's
even create a
that
patient because they were patients. Patient Latin means one who suffers. So you didn't create them, if you will. You just further substantiated what they already thought. You didn't lead them to somewhere else. So that's why leadership is so important. And what Fred said, I mean, like, I don't know if some of you guys really grabbed that. Like, if you took every person that walked in and said, who else, even if it's not their family, I certainly encourage, but who, if each one of those people brought in somebody else in their circle, like one person, you double. So we're so anti, when I say anti-chiropractic, like chiropractic's inside out. And yet when we're trying to grow our practice, we're all outside in. I'm not saying not to do social media and such. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that doesn't bring people in. But why don't we look inside first and really look inside of you first? I was listening to Jim Rohn yesterday, one of my coaches from years ago, and Jim always said, listen, if you work harder on yourself than you do your job, that no success occurs without tremendous personal development. That if you want to grow your business, you got to grow. You got to
absolutely
grow in order to grow your business. Don't start off by growing the business. Start off by growing you, and then the business grows. Your clarity, your certainty, your compassion, your communication, your skill sets. And when I look at my business, I want to say, geez, my practice, like Fred said, I mean, it's so simple. You drop that, and I don't know that everyone picks it up. So that's why I want to hit it again. Like, if everyone brought in one person, how often are you reaching out to those people saying, hey, does everyone in your family coming to see me? Tell me what I can do. How can I help you get your wife in? How can I help you get your kids in? If you had that conversation all day long and everyone brought in, your 200 a week practice just went to 400. And here's a news flash, which Fred knows and I know as a coach, doesn't cost you anything. You're not
it's
on, you're
free.
not online. Like, it's free.
I know. And then there's people thousands of dollars for all this marketing
Yes,
when
yes,
you're walking on the golden brick
yes,
road.
yes,
It's
yes,
under your sneakers. Take
yes,
your shoes off,
yes,
connect
yes,
with it, feel the
yes,
gold under your feet,
yes.
right? So it's right there. And plus, you know, I mean, I always say, if someone's not bringing in their kids or their immediate family, do they really understand lifestyle? Do they really understand
No,
healthcare?
no way.
Yeah, so I was on another call yesterday, and he's talking about this person was talking about getting to the next level, and they were about 170, 180 a week, but he's like, they really want to be at 300. And I'm like, man, you need to change you. A person that sees another 100
Exactly.
visits a week, you can't be the same person. If you're going to stay the same, you won't get there. And if
Correct.
you do, you only
Correct.
got there because you did a shitload of
Correct.
marketing, but you're
Correct.
not going to stay there because you
Correct.
didn't grow your PVA.
Correct.
And
Exactly right.
so, like, you have to change to that.
Yes.
The next level of your
Yes.
practice is a shift
Yes.
in your consciousness
Yes. Yes.
first. So he goes, I mean, here's where I'm at. I'm sure you got there a lot sooner. And I'm like, well, I mean, hey, I came out of school and I failed the California boards, right? So we were doing this postceptorship, me and my buddy, and I fill out this paperwork to answer these questions. And we were already independent contractors operating under someone else's license. And then we're like, nobody checks these. So we started writing all these bullshit answers and they never call us on it. So we're like, forget that. We're not doing it anymore. And then I didn't pass the board. Oops. Neither of us did, man. So I was like, yeah, by the time I took the boards the second time, a year out of school, we were already at 250 a week and I was practicing without a license.
Right.
Oops. Yeah. Not recommending that as a strategy. I'm just saying,
I'm
but
just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. And I think the statute of limitations has already passed after
Yeah, I think you're
36
good. I'm not
years.
saying anything.
Yeah, so I'm safe. But here's the key to that story. Once we found the principle, I never thought, did I want to build a practice? Absolutely. But I didn't look at it that way. I thought this is a message for humanity. And every person, that's the big idea, right? When you make an adjustment, you correct God, the spiritual man with the physical man. That's the big idea. You shift the consciousness. You're raising the consciousness of that person
Yes.
and
Yes.
shifting the consciousness of the world,
Yes.
of humanity. So, I mean, the reason we could get to 250, before we even got my license was because I never saw it like that. They had to bring their family. Because how are we going to affect the next generation? If it takes a whole generation for chiropractic to dominate healthcare, it starts with the person in front of you.
Correct.
And
Right.
that's how I saw it. And I know that, once you found the big idea from Reggie, you don't see it as I'm trying to close a patient. You're
Correct.
like, no, this is how you're going to live the rest of your life.
Yes.
And if you believe in this principle, just curious, do your wife and kids have spine and nervous system controlling their health in their life?
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, and they say, well, okay, well, what do I say to parents? And they need a pattern interruption. It's real simple. Why we do Chiro Mafia, right?
Yeah.
This is what the 3% would say. And you say, hey, Miss Jones, you come here, Jamie, been coming here for 2 years, man. Spine and nervous system is foundation of life, health, body. You're already living this as your healthcare system. Would you agree? Yeah. Just curious, which one of your 3 kids and your wife has a spine and nervous system that's controlling their health and their life? Which one of those? And then they go, okay, doc, I get it. And you go, do you? Because I haven't seen them in 2 years. So what you're saying is now you get it. Great. Who do you want to start with? Let's go to the front desk.
Yes. Yeah. If they're not bringing in, and that, my attitude, I have that post-it note on my computer. They never get it. Like they never get it ever. Like I start every day thinking they never get it. Because if they never get it and I walk out there realizing they never get it, then I'm always educating and leading to them getting it. Because how many times have we had somebody in the office where they leave and you're like, wow, I thought Fred really got it. Like I can't believe Fred dropped out of care. But what happened is Fred maybe got a little glimpse of it. So I stopped talking principle to Fred. And then Fred, I started talking ball game, weather. My table talk became buddy rather than, hey, man, we're segment organ function, segment organ function. T7, pancreas, affects your bowel, your bladder, your immune system, your insulin. Like we're segment organ function and every year we adjust. But the minute you stop doing that and go, hey, did you see the game this weekend? Talk about the weather, whatever. Now you're diluting it. Guess what? Fred stops getting it, and then he drops out of care. So if I start the idea that nobody gets it ever, nobody gets it. Rule number one: nobody gets it. Everybody's one conversation away from dropping. Everyone that I earn the right to be their chiropractor this time, right, or next time, this time. It's what I say now that's going to determine and give you value to walk in next time. If those are my conversations, yes, my retention is going to go up. But listen, like Fred said, if they're standing there in front of you and their wife and their family, their whole family's not in their care, they don't get it. I'm not mad at them, but I just look at that as like, wow, they don't even begin to get it. Because if they really understood what was happening, they would have their family, they'd find a way. So now my job is to elevate value, elevate concern, have the appropriate conversation, each and every time. You are neurologically compromised. Without a doubt, you are neurologically compromised if you're not getting adjusted. Everyone, so I don't care how good your adjustment is today, that's got nothing to do with them next week, because now they're subluxated next week. So, it's like brushing your teeth. I can brush my teeth better than I've ever fucking brushed them in my entire life today. Well, that's not going to help me next week. It's not going to help me next year, because if I'm not taking care of it continually, it doesn't matter the workout or the good meal or the brushing my teeth. So the adjustment continuum is critical to ensure that their nervous system and integrity is sustained and well maintained throughout the rest of their life. And if they're not bringing their family in, they don't get it. So your job is to get it. I mean, Andrew Brigg, how many people do you look at their x-ray and they're hypolordotic? Brigg came out 4 to 5 centimeters of axial torsion on the spinal cord. What's it do to electronic or electrical conductivity, blood flow, cerebral
That's
spinal cord?
bad.
Right. You're
That's a
dying. You are
lot.
essentially dying of turning the dial. So why is it, if you looked at an x-ray, why is this, Fred? If somebody looks at an x-ray, chiropractor looks at an x-ray, and they see a big tumor there, they're like, holy shit, oh my God, Fred, you've got cancer, it's horrible, oh my God, and they do everything they can. I'm not saying that is the inappropriate response, but why is it when we see how damaged and subluxated they are, we don't feel the same way? Why don't we look at that and go, oh my God, there's a pit in my stomach, holy Jesus, they're dying, there's a lack of communication, the discs are deteriorating, the quality of their life is being affected. Why don't we feel the same way? When you don't feel the same way, that's the place you need to work on, because you should feel that same pit in your stomach when I look at somebody's spine busted up, the same way I look at if they had a big tumor in their lung. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. And, medicine talks about the relationship between curves and energy in the cord.
Yes, of course.
And I mean, go to elitecoachingllc.com and get the Back to Health books, free digital copy. And I took Dan Murphy's, did a bunch of medical research, and I wrote it like a story, because in our tech society, right, we're so forward flex. Flexion is death, extension is life. And so so I want to comment on what you're doing, and the things you say. When we look at systems, because if you have parents that are coming without their kids, maybe you don't know how. So what's the system of communication? Well, first of all, it's got to break down what's your strategy. And what I found with me, to label patient education and giving information, first of all, research on human behavior. When you give somebody information, 50% is gone in an hour, 70% is gone,
Exactly.
it's gone in a day, and 90%
Exactly.
is gone in a week. So this is why we don't dominate healthcare yet. And it's not because of pharmaceutical companies. It's because the general public doesn't know. The only way we would dominate healthcare is if the general public knew what we knew, and that's where we failed. So what I found through patient education and forward coaching groups is giving people information became the strategy of hope. I'm going to give you information and I hope you get it. Now, after I got tired of that, then I said, I need to change the strategy. And we went into changing beliefs. Now, when you change a belief system and people are passionate about it, it's like somebody that finds the Lord, they're a born again Christian. I'm using this as an example. You don't have to tell that person to go to church. You don't have to tell them to go to work and talk about Jesus. You don't have to tell them that they want to bring as many people into their church as possible. Well, that should be what your patients are like. They should have purpose. Now, when they change beliefs and they want that to be the healthcare lifestyle for generations, then yes, those little things that you give them every day. And so this is the difference between 97% and the 3%. 3% change beliefs. Right? Yeah. When it's a belief system, you don't have to remind them to come on Wednesday. You don't have to remind them that you bring your kids every Friday after you pick them up for school or whatever it is. Because they want to do it.
Right.
And it becomes a value and a purpose. Just like that, if you want to call them born again Christian, you don't have to tell them that, to be on church on time.
Correct.
Yeah,
And you're not
because
calling
what?
them to chase them down for missed adjustments. They're calling you, hey, I can't make it Wednesday. Put me and the
Absolutely.
kids down on Thursday, rather than, hey, I'm getting ghosted by everybody, because they're like, Jesus, like if I don't get adjusted, you know, and I go in the office to see the staff, I'm like, man, I got to get adjusted today. Like, you know, I'm on schedule. Like I get a text. I'm the product. I'm part of it. And that's the other part of it, I think, to really live in truth and integrity and alignment is I want to be the best version of the product that I'm selling. Because the product we're selling, if you will, the product that we're sharing is a better life through a healthier nervous system, through better expression. That
Absolutely.
subluxation makes you sick. Like it's not chiropractic per se. You know, when you go to a dental office, like they don't put on the glass. You know, when you walk in, right? What do they have? They don't put a big tooth with tooth decay and somebody going like this. Because chiropractors, what do? We do the fucking lightning bolts and sciatica, and the guy's going like this, like, oh my God, it's horrible, right? No, what do? They put this beautiful family, beautiful women, beautiful men, and they have their teeth and their beautiful smiles. And their product is, hey, it's not even better teeth. It's that if your teeth are better, your life is better. You're going to be more beautiful. You're going to be more attractive. The quality of your life is better. That's the message of chiropractic. You're going to make more money. You're going to be a better mom, a better dad. You're going to wake up, less sick days. Your health every day is going to be better. That's the image you want to put out there. Hey, listen, get adjusted. Your life's wonderful. You're beautiful. Things are great. I mean, that's, you know, we've lost what we're trying to do. And then what happens is we get pushed back and we go for the low hanging fruit. And there, you know, it defines chiropractic where it is. And then you have the other people coming out of school and they don't know. So they're placating to trying to be an MD or a natural allopath. It doesn't make them bad people. They're misguided, but that isn't what chiropractic is either. I mean, you can eat great and exercise, right? But if you're not getting adjusted, you're not as healthy as you should be. I can give a plant all the water it needs and all the sunlight it needs. If I don't give it nutrition, it's still sick. So if you're not getting adjusted, I don't care how many good things you're doing, you're still sick. Crooked is sick, right? More crooked is more sick. More crooked is more pain. More crooked is more disability. More crooked is more arthritis. More crooked is more nerve interference.
Hey,
That's, you
not
know,
only
get them to
that,
understand that.
I never saw a woman see somebody with a big forward head posture and rounded shoulders go,
Yeah.
that man is sexy.
Yeah.
Look at that posture, man.
Exactly.
That is
Exactly.
one sexy motherfucker right
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
You know, like you'd be better off having a poster like this than
Yeah.
having somebody all strong and
Yes.
built and saying, which one's sexier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Burt, I was in the office today and he shared a file of a patient today with me. And you look at her x ray, she's 67. She is, I mean, her x ray puts a pit in your stomach when you look at her spine, literally puts a pit, you know, hyperlordotic, lateral translation, degenerative throughout the whole spine, pelvic all torqued up. And then literally you look at all the circles. What do I got? Neck pain, headaches, mid back pain. Then you look at visceral, digestive problems, immune problems. And then the biggest list was what? Her pharmaceutical list. She's on 2 drugs for every problem, if not 3 drugs for every problem.
Yeah.
So she's on 13 prescription drugs, and your heart breaks because the quality of her life is like this. Think about her sympathetic. She's in a state of stress. Sympathetic is being unregulated. Her nervous system expression of life and energy, like Fred talks about, is certainly not being expressed in her body. Her body's decaying, it's rotting, it's, you know, and only us can do it. We're the
Yeah.
only profession that's going to do it. No one else is going to do it.
Well, and what I want to go through real quick is, you know, when you look at the strategy of changing beliefs, there's really 4 common belief systems. And when you see what's the belief system of this person, then you have a strategy to change their belief
Yes.
system in
Yes.
healthcare. So what's the obvious first one? Chiropractic's about back pain. Well, how do you
Right.
know? Because they'd use other chiropractors for back pain. So how do you change that? Well, in the consultation, it's what your other chiropractor didn't tell you. What
Exactly.
didn't they tell you? The spine and nervous system is foundational life, health, body. They tell you when you have a back injury, shutting down energy in the nerve and breaking down your health. Did they tell you that? Well, no, they didn't. Oh, they set very small, short goals for you. Well, and then you find the consultation. Well, I have asthma. Well, I have ulcerative colitis. Well, did your chiropractor tell you that? No. So that's one, and that's how you transfer the trust and you break that old model. Second one is I go to a chiropractor for my spine, but I go to an MD for my health. So that could be that woman you just talked about. I'm on 13 different medications, but my back hurts, and that's what brought me to a chiropractor. Right? So how do you shatter that? Well, hey, when your MD gave you the inhaler for the asthma, did he relate the fact that you got in a car accident 6 years earlier and whiplash injury is going to break down your lungs and lead to asthma? Did he tell you that? Did he tell you that when you have injuries, and problems, subluxations in your spine is going to shut down the nerves and weaken your lungs? Oh, by the way, it's the same area that goes to your heart. And I also notice you're on high blood pressure medication. Did your healthcare provider tell you that? Or did he tell you just need to be on blood pressure medication your whole life? So when they say, what didn't they tell you? And they're like, well, they didn't tell me that. Yeah, we help people with that every day. Then you're transferring the trust from medicine to chiropractic. Correct. It's that transference of trust, and it's a belief system. So what's the third one? Hey, if you do spinal correction, pre and post x-rays, hey, I get my spine corrected because I have a spinal problem, but I still go to my MD. But you know what? My kids, I take to the pediatrician. Why? Right. Because my kid doesn't have back pain. My kid doesn't have a spinal problem. And that's why they don't bring in their kids, because you sold them a product or service to fix their spine. And then the fourth one is actually get spinal correction, optimal spine, optimal health. Their asthma went away. They understand that. But then, you know what? I fixed my spine. My asthma's gone, so I'm healthy, so I'm good. And that's the difference between health care and healthcare lifestyle.
Exactly.
Healthcare is fixing your spine. Right. Healthcare lifestyle is energy is health.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right? It's the energy. People get so caught up on coming in for an adjustment is why they won't make their appointment. The effect of the adjustment is why they will always make their appointments.
Yes, exactly.
So it's not the mechanics of the adjustment, it's what happens after the adjustment, and that's the healing. And that's what chiropractors miss. A person will miss Wednesday because, well, I don't need an adjustment today, but they'll make Wednesday because I want my healing energy to be 100%. I want to live at my God-given potential. I know that my health and my body and my life, my mind, everything will be at a higher level because of what happens after I leave the office.
Right. And they believe that with everything else. Like, I don't go to the gym to get a lactic burn in my biceps when I'm curling. I'm doing it so that it benefits after I work out, right? I'm eating good today and sacrificing some of the things I might want to eat and replacing them maybe things that aren't as satisfying, but which might be a cornetti filled with vanilla cream. I'm just saying. So I'm giving that up because I realize, hey, if I make those choices after the meal, I'm going to benefit. So we get that, but we don't connect it to what we do and the power of the adjustment, the power of the healing, the power of the expression of energy, innate intelligence in the body. In the end, by relieving that interference, maybe not fully clearing it, but by relieving some of that interference, the expression of innate, the intelligence, energy in the body, how it changes how the body functions, which changes you as an individual and changes your life and your health. In the end, that's what you're doing. You are doing that. So the more they don't have to think like that per se, but the more you think like that, the more people you're going to lead, right? The less you think like that, you're not leading anybody.
Absolutely. So when people are on corrective care in my practice, I would say, you come in for the adjustment, we do all the stuff to change the curves, and it's the next 36 hours of healing. So people would come in, they go, man, Dr. Fred, traffic was a bitch. It took me 90 minutes to get here. And I go, it's good. It took you 90 minutes here, 90 minutes home. That's 3 hours. And you're going to get the next 36 to 48 hours of healing. That's why you drove 90 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, because why do people not come? Well, traffic. Well, they don't have this. But what do they gave up? Now they're in the next 48 hours of disease. Right. You're either in the state of health or the state of disease. There's no gray. The problem happens when you put gray in the middle. It's black or white. You're either subluxated or you're not.
You're either getting healthier or sicker. That's it,
Yeah.
right? Same thing you're saying.
You're never a little bit subluxated.
Correct.
You're getting 100% energy or you're not.
Or you're not. Exactly.
Yeah.
Stop minimizing it. Stop using words that minimize what you do and minimize who you are. Don't say it's a little bit out of alignment, it's slight, or be so quick to confront people like, oh my God, or comfort them. You know, if somebody starts crying when they look at their x-ray, the last thing I ever do is comfort them. I never would say, Fred, yeah, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. I do the opposite. I go, you know, I got to be honest with you. That's exactly how I feel when I look at your x-ray. I want to cry. That's how bad it is. That's the only way. The minute you comfort them, the minute you minimize them, the problem becomes smaller. The problem has to be bigger than the solution. They got to get like, holy shit, that's horrible. I better do something. Oh my God, that's all I got to do in order to regain my health. But if you keep minimizing it at the end and say it's a little bit, I see this all the time, no big deal. Hey, it's a slight, it's a little. I do this all the time. You're going to be fine, man. I just saw a couple ladies, blah, blah, blah. The more you do that, and you think you're comforting them, you're minimizing the problem. You're minimizing their commitment, their understanding, the consequences of subluxation. They're less committed. Why would I come in? I could just stretch and do a vitamin and a baby aspirin, and I'm good to go. I don't need you. I don't need to come in. So they don't get it when you talk like that.
No, but I was on a call, what's today, Wednesday? I was on a call yesterday, and this guy was telling me the scenario of the stage 2 ROF. And he goes, you know, this is what I said, and blah, 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 and they didn't commit. And I, well, it's obvious why they didn't commit. Well, what? I go, because you talked about the spine. Spine is progression. Urgency is energy.
Exactly.
I go, you talked about the spine. That's progression. It's like the phase of regeneration. Well, in 20 years, here's what you're going to look like. We just told them they could wait for 20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, progression is the spine. Energy being shut down in the body is happening right now.
Exactly.
And so that's one thing I used to say is I would talk about, you know, tension on the cord, energy being shut down. You got 18 different health problems, blah, blah, blah. And I would say, you know, as you're standing there deciding what priority your health is, energy is being shut down in your body. It's, and you give them an analogy. It's like a tire rolling downhill. So every second that you're sitting there thinking about it right now, the tire is rolling downhill. So what happens to the momentum and the speed of a tire as it rolls further down the hill? Well, it gets faster. Yeah. So the sicker you get, the faster you get sick. So as you're sitting there and that energy's been shut down for probably most of your life, that tire's way down the hill.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
Exactly. And see, you asked that your client was telling, right? We get that. People, this is what I told him. I told him this. I told him this. No, fucking ask them. How bad does that look? What happens if you don't take care of it? How sick are you right now? What's happening every minute? Think about if you don't take care of this. You think it's bad now, right? What do you think it's going to be tomorrow? What do you think it's going to be next week? When's the best? When would have been a better time to start? You know, I mean, like, ask them. They don't have to be chiropractors. All they got to do is go, wow, that looks horrible. It took a long time to get horrible. I got to, you know, it's blocking messages, signals. I got to get in here for a while to get it well. And then I got to what? What's my job once you're well? Keep you well for how long? The rest of your life. Because you get those people, fix me. Why'd you break? That's my favorite question. Fred, why'd you break? Because you weren't taking care of it. You weren't, well, I was going to do wellness care. Listen, let me explain something. The most valuable care is wellness care, because that prevents you from getting sick in the first place. It's wellness care. That's the most valuable. You get people, they do the hierarchy of care and they devalue. I have some docs, they go, I'm going to charge less for wellness care. Fuck no, charge more for wellness care. Wellness care is more valuable than the acute or corrective care. Wellness care is it. Why'd you break? Because you weren't taking care of it. So once I get you well, what are we going to do? Hey, why'd you break? I wasn't taking care of it. So let me get this straight. No offense, Fred. You want to stop care, let it get sick and disease like it did before, and then start? You want to go back to the way you were? That's what you want to do? Well, no. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Like, it just creates the appropriate conversation if you ask the appropriate question.
So, hey, I'm looking at the clock. It's like, hey, I got a coaching call in 2 minutes. Yeah. So what Joe didn't say is every patient only has one problem. They never lived a chiropractic lifestyle. It's
Right.
the only problem you're ever solving.
Right.
Spinal correction, that's not the problem. That's just repairing the damage because you
Correct.
spent the first 46 years of your life not taking care of your
Correct.
spinal nervous system. And so that's it. So, yeah, well, Ben, that time flew by fast. We didn't even have a guest, man. I mean,
Boom.
we can go on. Boom. We can go on.
I did. I had the best guest ever, Fred. Dr. Fred DiDomenico, head of elite coaching. I mean,
Yeah,
are
there
you
you go.
serious?
How awesome. Look at the Chiro passion, man. You're speaking my language.
Love and appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
On
man.
fire
So,
now. You're going to go coach, and I'm going to go jump on some calls too. So it's awesome.
yeah,
You couldn't
there
be
you go.
luckier, man. We're
So,
blessed
yeah,
guys.
how
No
they
doubt.
find you, Joe? You got, you still got the Florida event
Oh,
coming
yeah, we
up,
got the
I
boot
think?
camp. Yeah, if you're looking to do a boot camp, I know Fred does a phenomenal one as well. I mean, you know, I can assure you that you're not going to walk away from either of those, whatever you choose to do, without being wanting to be bitter and bigger and better for sure. But yeah, we're April 12th, Fort Lauderdale. Check us out. Chiropractic Consulting, Joe Boyle, right on our site. You can log right in, and I think we have, I think we could fit another 15 people. Most docs bring like 2 or 3 CAs, so yeah, I think we fit 15 more people. So
Awesome. And I'll pretty much guarantee you and make this bold claim, but I know we've seen it. You go to one of these events, his or mine, you will see your PVA increase 20 visits.
Yeah, no doubt.
A minimum of 20 visits.
Yeah.
Just go to one boot camp, you will see a 20 visit increase in your retention, which means you have a whole new practice. Correct. You have a different type of person, right? You look at the difference between a 40 PVA and a 60 or a 70 PVA. Those are different type of people because you are a different person.
Yes.
So yeah, go to Elite Coaching. We got a boot camp coming up in June. So yeah, just go there and you know what? Just schedule a breakthrough call with me and schedule one with Joe. And let's just build a relationship, whether you do anything or not. Subscribe here, send this around. There were so many great one-liners just on this one call that alone is going to go get your family members and patients to grow right now.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right. Love you guys. See you next week.
Love you, Fred. Talk to you. Bye.